What's good, team? Here, welcome back to the show. You guys know how the show goes. We talk about things that happen on the internet. Today, we got a little quick story. It's about Hasan apparently shock collaring his dog. So for those who don't know, Hasan is a political streamer, commentator on YouTube, and he has a dog that sits in the back of his streams most of the time. And I remember when I first discovered Hasan, I did see that dog very often. Well, a moment appeared on stream where he ended up shocking the dog with a shock collar. Now, some are speculating whether or not it's actually the case, but I think we can all come to the conclusion that he shocked the dog. And when we look at the footage, which we're about to in a second, we can obviously, without a doubt, see the shock collar and or see the moment he presses the button. So let's see. We have a tweet here from Tectone. It says, I always wondered how Hasan kept his dog behind him all stream. It's because he's been using a shock collar on a setting so high that his dog effing screams. When he uses it, using your dog as a prop to seem more friendly, relatable, and down to earth. When in reality, the dog isn't sitting there on its own volition, but stays there out of fear. I am beyond disgusted with this man's whole existence. Interesting. Now let's take a look.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Okay, we can clearly see him pressing the button, right? He reaches his hand
Jesus
out.
Christ, what are you doing?
He grabs it.
You're being such a baby.
Wow.
It's just
Being such a baby after getting shot.
you're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom. No, she doesn't want to come over here to see what's up. She just wants to fucking roam the house because she got to roam the house when I was gone. And she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented. I think that clip went to Trump's big baby desk immediately. I hate everything. I hate everything.
I can see why. I think at the moment he knew exactly, which is why he said that was going to reach the part of Twitter that nobody really likes. It's sort of the part of Twitter where anything you do in a minute detail that seems against social norms is definitely going to get you crucified. Now, okay, that dog does sit back there a lot in streams, and I did always wonder, like, I thought, right? I was under the impression that he had a good dog trainer, right? Or he was a good dog trainer and he just kept the dog there to be trained and be totally fine. But it looks like the dog is being tortured to stay there, which is not good, right? I think we can all come to the conclusion that it's not great. Now, here's something that I would like to add, right? Via discretion, right? That dog is not a very aggressive dog. It doesn't seem like it. Now, maybe it can be. I'm pretty sure that's those one of those like experiences, like they call like a Tiberan dog or a Tabarin. I don't know. They're one of those like dogs that seem very expensive. I'm pretty sure that's a very expensive dog. Okay. But I do know, like, if you get a big pit bull dog, you do have to give a shock collar because they're wild, right? Pit bulls are very wild animals and they're extremely aggressive, even towards humans. So you do need shock collars to a certain extent on specific animals. But that dog seems very, like, you just have to put in the work of training the dog, and most of the time you do that with delayed gratification rather than shocking the dog, right? You don't need to shock every dog. Not every dog needs to be shocked. You can get a proper trainer, they can help, and it's really simple, actually. A lot of it just comes down to patience and time, right? It's over time they learn the behavioral patterns. But we can all come to the conclusion that it's kind of, I guess you can say it's sort of demoralizing that instead of taking the long route of like cherishing the pet, right? Taking it as your own and doing the long work you need to make sure that it listens to you in every command you have, which is giving it treats after it's completed a specific task you've given it instructions to do, training it based on sensory and all that, because a lot of dogs and a lot of cats and other animals, they use the electromagnetic spectrum around the earth to actually operate in the world. That's how they're effectively operable. And we can see here that Hasan has not taken that route. Now, it's kind of unfair to say that, it's his dog, so he can do what he wants, if we're being honest, but it is messed up because, those types of dogs, they're not very vicious. They don't even seem vicious, right? Like, you know, maybe if you discover them in the wild, maybe they, off a whim may bite you or something, but these dogs are very polite, very nice most of the time. Um, and I think it's just how as humans have developed with dogs over time. Sorry. What I would like to say though is I think his intentions are pure in some degree to want the dog to be there, I guess. And like he said before, that the dog was spoiled because I guess he believed when he wasn't there or he took a vacay to like Japan or something with Pokimane, the dog was able to roam free and do whatever it wanted. So now it's kind of in that mindset, right? That behavioral pattern to be able to just wander the house and do what it wants. But it is in some ways unfortunate and unacceptable. You can do that without torturing the dog. You can do that without torturing the dog. You also had to be very tight around the dog. If you notice, it's very, very tight because those dogs, right? If you look at those types of dogs, they have a lot of skin, right? It's very baggy. And you may not realize, but the skin being so baggy, even if you tie it like very tight because you have like their natural bodily autonomy on top of their fur, that fur can sort of concentrically choke the dog, right? It can be too tight around the dog. So I do think it's a good observation of people to look and be like, okay, well, this is kind of bad because, a dog can be put through mass brutality without even it being acknowledged. But I would like to say that this is off of a whim, okay? It's a one-time occurrence, so we can't put ultimate blame on, this being captured on camera. I would like to say though that he should change his regimen when training his dog, or just really anyone should change their regimen, or with his cats. When you're dealing with people who are below you, and the reason I say people, or I want to say things, right? Living things, organisms, they have to, once something is dependent on you, you have to be patient with it, regardless. That goes for kids, that goes for pets, right? It's just a mandatory thing. You have to have patience because it's their first time here, or it's their, dogs, they have a different conception of time. So the children, this is their first time here, so you really have to be patient with them because they don't really know, right? As much as you may get aggravated or annoyed, they don't really know. They don't know stuff. They're new, right? So, it's just their first time popping into existence. So, I do think it's kind of just a bad moment, but just make sure you take care of your dog without the means of at least putting in the nature of being tortured. I'm not saying that he did torture the dog or that he does, but in the nature of it, right? The cognate. So that's really it. Hasan kind of tortures his dog live on stream. With that being said, Team Mission K. Okay, I will see you guys when you're older. Peace.